for the afternoon hours in the Coachella Valley. You can expect sunshine, highs at 101. I'm forecaster Jimmy O'Neill for Smart Talk 1490 KMET.
That's right. It's the morning show here on ABC News Radio KMET 1490 AM. I'm Aaron Michael Sanchez. There's a lot of things going on today. What are you doing? Are you going to have fun? We hope so. We know that there's well, I know today kind of marks something kind of special and kind of like, I don't know. I'm not sure if I'm ready for it. I want to be ready. I don't know if I'm going to be ready. I know, some people have their thoughts on it. But Guardians, bye-bye. It's the last one. Jess, what's going on over there?
Oh, my God. I'm like, oh, my God, what are you talking about? What's going to be sad? And then you reminded me, oh, great. Yeah, this will be the end of the current Guardians. We may get future Guardians with new people, but only the future will tell. But for this one, it looks like it's going to be very emotional.
Wait a minute. Say it again. You might get Guardians with different... Wait, say it again.
You might get Guardians, but with a new cast of Guardians. Like, the crew comes in, comes out, because obviously Drax or Dave Bautista, he's dropping out because he's done... Zoe Saldana's bowing out. She's got other things, but there could be new Guardians.
I get it. Like a new team.
Yes, exactly. I mean, who said that they would come back? Chris Pratt. He said he would come back as Star-Lord again.
All right, good. He's part of the team because evidently, you think of Groot. I think Groot would pretty much go, all right, I'm good to go. But he would say, I am Groot. And then there would be Rack, and Rack would be like, I don't know if we're ready to just end right now, And then, you know what I mean? And I think, if anything, maybe it's and maybe the what's the girl's name that's Gamora's adopted,
You're talking about Nebula.
Thank you. Nebula. I think Nebula would be like, whatever. And I think Star-Lord, I'm not sure that's a good name for him long term because it kind of puts him in that category of oh, you think you're a lord. I think if anything, he would probably join. Well, what other person? Well, okay, Mantis, right? The woman that Drax, does he break up with her? Do they go off and get married? How do they you know what I mean? What goes on there?
Right. You just got to watch the third one to find out because I have no idea.
Yeah, I don't, yeah. I'm telling you, Avengers did in Gamora. Gamora would never go down like that. She's strong. There's a reason, Thanos always is I'm afraid of her. But they gotta, the multiverse has fractured. We know that. Doctor Strange, kind of did some weird things. He has that thing in the middle of his forehead. I don't know how they. I think they could bring her back because they bring everybody back. You know what I mean? So, but I like your theory about maybe new Guardians joining the team. But I think it would be Groot. It would be
whoever does not pass away in this film.
Oh God, don't say that.
No, I don't know. Well, someone always passes away in every film. The first one was Groot. The second one was I don't want to say his name because I don't want to cry. But either way, things happen. And
you're right. Yeah, that guy. Yeah.
Yes. Like I said,
Mary Poppins, man.
Exactly. Like in the original crew of the Guardians of the Galaxy in the comic books, Yondu was part of the original crew.
That's true. Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah. They had that. They had that actually in the They did a little animation thing, and that was on the one that we were talking about, Disney Plus. I will say this: they had a marathon. Okay, they had it yesterday. I wanted to go, but I missed it, and I'm by the time I was too late. So I think it's good to kind of go see the first one or the second one, see the third one. That's gonna be out for I don't know how many but I'm just upset that they're ending it and I think they have more to go. And I think if the director didn't go DC, we'd probably have more. I think. But maybe he didn't know how to rescue the Gamora thing, because Gamora without the team, it's like, and you're right. You're right. That's a good point. Every single one of them gets killed off eventually. I know that tells the story of Rack, so I'm kind of like, okay, and oh my God, he has a little raccoon. He looks so cute. You know what I mean? Like he's just so adorable. And you're like, oh, like they did a Wolvie on him, the Wolverine like thing, So in a way, I get he's upset. I get it, because he's been like a lab. You don't ever call him. It's like, yeah, I don't think so. But I guess the point is, what do you do with that? I don't know. But so I'm kind of like, do I want to see it? And part of me says yes. The other part says I don't know. And the other part says I just want to get. But I think I'll be upset at the end. I'll be like, no. And I don't think they'll repair it. You know what I mean? I think Groot will be like, I am Groot. Which means, in essence, I am very upset at this. How dare you? And he would blame the director. I think. Unless there's somebody else that's behind the scenes that says, no more good. How dare you? Because they don't want us to be saved in the universe of, whatever it is. All right. I don't know if there's a way to fix it, but there you go. All right, people. We got to take a quick little break. We'll be back with more right after this. Stay tuned.
After the game, after school, after work, Applebee's is where you want to be to enjoy their bold, savory grilled steaks, salmon, or chicken. Applebee's is located where Beaumont meets Banning, just off 6th Street near Highland Springs Avenue. Applebee's started with the same philosophy they follow today. Focus on serving good food to good people in a neighborhood-style setting. Applebee's also offers car side to go when you order online. Applebee's in Beaumont, serving the Pass area. So fresh, so fast, make it Applebee's tonight.
The Holiday Inn Express and Suites in Banning is distinctively suited for your travel time out of the car. Off the road, you'll find a courteous, welcoming staff in spacious rooms with desks, flat-screen HD TVs, and comfortable furnishings. Enjoy the complimentary breakfast buffet, high-speed internet, and fitness center and pool. The Holiday Inn Express and Suites in Banning, conveniently located off the I-10 near golf, gaming, and entertainment. For reservations and information, call 951-572-5500. That's 951-572-5500, or go online at hiebanning.com.
Take KMET 1490 AM with you everywhere you go by downloading our free smartphone apps found on the KMET website, KMET1490am.com. You can also go to the Google Play Store or the Apple App Store on your phone to download the free app. Now you can listen live or play any of your favorite programmers' podcasts using your smartphone. Go to KMET1490am.com and download your free phone app today.
You're running out of letterhead. What do? Lithopass Printing. You need business cards. Now what? Lithopass Printing. Invitations to a wedding? Lithopass Printing and Banning is the answer. Lithopass Printing can provide banners, signs, and blueprints. Think of Lithopass Printing and Banning for quality graduation, birthday party, and baby shower invitations. Lithopass Printing also provides lamination, faxing, and photo prints. If you need it inked, make it Lithopass Printing. Lithopass Printing and Banning.
Do you owe $10,000 or more to the IRS or state? Did you miss sending out a prior year tax return? The IRS is out to collect now more than ever, and they'll use any means necessary. They legally can and will garnish your wages, take your money, and even seize your property. If you're behind on your taxes, call the Tax Relief Hotline right now at 951-224-9000. That's 951-224-9000. 951-224-9000. You can legally get your tax debt under control, and in many cases, get the breathing room you need. Garnished wages, property seizures, bank levies can stop immediately, but you have to call. Many of our specialists are IRS enrolled agents. They know the system and how to make it work for you. Don't wait for the IRS to come down on you. Act now so you can get your tax debt under control. Call the Riverside office today for free info at 951-224-9000. That's 951-224-9000. 951-224-9000.
That's right. It's the morning show here on ABC News Radio, KMET 1490 AM. There's a lot of things going on. I know, Jess, you're working on something over there. Oh, by the way, Applebee's. Okay, I got to bring it up. It looks good. It looks delicious. When you see this, it almost looks like a fast food establishment. This is a special. I don't know if Bill knows it, but it's happening, and it ends the 7th, okay? It's right there. It's obviously on the screen for those of you tuning in on the any audio device, whether it be Alexa, whether it be, whatever. Like, if you don't get video, go follow us on Facebook. Follow us on, I hate Twitter. We used to have Twitter, and I used to have it, but now I don't have it. Jazz, what's going on?
I don't know. Hopefully Elon Musk is not listening. I like Twitter. Wink, wink.
Oh my God. Yeah, you know what? Look, I don't know. If anything, Twitter is kind of like, I put in another request to say, can you get my, like, because I got hacked. For any of you that have gotten hacked, if you got hacked, let me know. Message, I got hacked, because they say, oh, when you fill out the form, there's a form on Twitter, right? You go see the official form, and then it says, okay, we'll send you an email to let you know, in essence, that we're working on it, right? No email came through. It says, check your spam. And I went to the spam, and actually I saw an email that I needed to, because I'm like, oh, that went to my spam folder, so it's good to check your spam folder every now and then, because you might see something, and I'm like, oh, that's an event that I probably should go to. Okay. So I'm like, okay, well, and then I replied, I said, hey, by the way, just so you know, it went to the spam folder. I don't know if they fixed it. They should. But sometimes certain emails get tagged, and so all your stuff goes to spam if you send out a lot. So you gotta kind of use like a service, but sometimes even that goes. Like, there are a lot of, like, even messages from Twitter that tells me about an update on someone, and they go to the spam folder. So I'm like, but anyway, the point is, the support is not working. So whatever Musk did, how much money he paid, I think he may have let go of the support team, Jess. I think that's what's going on. What do you think?
Yeah, I completely agree with that. He tried to cut some corners, and you know what? This is what we have to deal with, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's like, support, check the email. So anyway, that's a story. I'm sticking to it. But Applebee's has a special. We'll have Bill talking about that. But there you go. All right, I know there's a lot of things going on in the world. I know, Jess, you're kind of working on something. I don't know if we have enough time on this, but all right. Well, I guess this. Okay, we're gonna let's go ahead and take another break. When we get back, I have something to talk about, but I don't know if people are ready, because I know some are kind of like, I don't care, whatever, but then others are like, well, maybe. And then, but here's the headline. I'll just leave it with this, okay? Let's see. I had it. Oh, here it is. Harris to meet with CEOs about AI. Okay, and then this, which I'm not gonna lie, I looked at one of those posts, Jess, about the protesting of writers, and I thought one of them was Ed Sheeran, and I think it might be, because it says here, Ed Sheeran speaks out on protecting songwriters. So the whole thing right now is about writers, and is AI going to take over their jobs? Because it comes up with some, I'm like, okay, that's kind of interesting. So I think it could enhance, not going to lie. I think it's not working. So I think if they actually research it, rather than just say, oh, it does this and that, I say, technically, if you test it, it doesn't do what you think it does. It's limited to a certain amount of characters. How can you write, a lot with a little bit amount of characters? That's number one. When you allow it to write with more than, I think it's around 3,000 characters, let's just say. I haven't tested it fully. But I'm like, oh, it has problems, It messes things up. It crashes. It does all kinds of things. I've been testing it, not going to lie. But I think in a way they just need to kind of fix it, let it go, because I think people are going to take advantage of it. I think it could make things better. Grammarly uses it. There are other things that use it. So I don't know. I think it's too late, honestly. I think it, if anything, because they've been working on this so long. Some even theorize they've been working on it for ever since before people talked about. But it was technically machine learning. That's what it was called. So there you go. So that's what I'm going to say about that. All right, we're going to take a break. We got Bill coming up next here with Applebee's. We'll be back with more right after this. Stay tuned.
Are you paying rent because you think you cannot afford to live in your dream home? Are you renting because you don't believe that you have the down payment funds to purchase your own home? The Siegel lending team at ronismylender.com has up to $25,000 to help qualified people purchase their own home at amazing interest rates. Contact the Siegel lending team today at ronismylender.com. Again, ronismylender.com, license under NMLS 217037. ronismylender.com.
We're in the studio with Fred Penny, managing attorney with Penny & Associates Injury Lawyers. Fred, tell us what makes you the #1 choice for handling personal injury cases.
Most of our firm is made up of former insurance company trial lawyers with extensive experience handling all types of personal injury matters. We believe that gives us a distinct advantage.
That's Penny & Associates Injury Lawyers with locations throughout California. For a free consultation, go to pennyandassociates.com or call 1-800-616-4LAW. That's 1-800-616-4LAW.
Mattress Brothers Overstock Mattress Sale. Just $3.99 for a foam-encased queen pillow top set. $3.99. Check out Mattress Brothers $3.99 Overstock Sale. Mattress Brothers at 120 West Redlands Boulevard in Redlands. The $3.99 Overstock Sale is on now. $3.99 for a foam-encased queen pillow top set. Mattress Brothers also has locations in Hemet, Riverside, and Palm Desert. The $3.99 queen pillow top sale on now. New teen driver in the family? Just bought your first home? Have a new bundle of joy? Every life change matters, and by reviewing your insurance policy with Little & Sons Insurance Services, you could be benefiting with big savings. Little & Sons Insurance Services, a family-owned insurance agency who values the old-fashioned way of doing business. They work for you, not an insurance company, meaning your best interests are at heart. They can custom tailor your policy based on specific needs at a price you can afford. Home, auto, or business, you're covered. Call 1-844-9-LITTLE. That's 1-844-9-LITTLE, or go online to little, the letter N, sons.com. That's littlensons.com. Join Yvette Walker every Tuesday at 4 o'clock p.m. on KMET ABC News Radio, 1490 AM, FM 98.1, and Internet KMET TV for the Southern California Business Report. The show is dedicated to highlighting successful businesses and the individuals behind them. Yvette interviews the incredible people managing these enterprises that range from awe-inspiring sole proprietors to world-renowned organizations. The Southern California Business Report, Tuesdays at 4 o'clock p.m.
That's right. It's the morning show here on ABC News Radio, KMET 1490 AM. There's a lot of things out in the world, and I will say this: go check out Applebee's. It's definitely a thing you're gonna want to check out, and it's pretty amazing. They have a special if you go to the website. You can actually check it out, and you could do pickup, you could do delivery. They have a service that they actually go through for that. Again, it's extra, so don't think like, oh, it's included. It's not. So, I mean, pizza, they include it, but you got to tip the guy, so you just remember that. Okay. And then they have car side to go. That's pretty cool. But there you go. All right. So there's a lot of things going on in the world, and everybody's talking AI. I kind of want to talk about it because even the White House is talking about it. Here's a headline: White House backs public evaluation of ChatGPT and other generative AI platforms. Okay, now I'll say this for the creative community. They've been talking about this for a while. And they say, "Oh my God," and I say, "Okay." And then there are others that say, "Well, I mean, it could help. It definitely reduces what we do, And then I did some things, and I asked a couple people some questions. I said, "Okay, what do you think?" And then somebody said, "It's been around for a while. I don't know why they're like, oh no, And I'm like, well, that's what happens with new stuff, And but I say this, and I say, you got to be careful with what you put it with. That's what they really got to look. This ChatGPT and these other programs that do, some what I would call a little creative thinking, but not a lot of creative thinking. It has to get a lot to. Well, I'll give you an example. There's a site, and you could subscribe to it. And I was going to get it because everybody knows I wrote a book, so I'm like, okay. And I thought, okay, is there a better? And I checked out some sites, and it says we use AI to help with words. And I go, okay. And it wasn't ChatGPT, but I think they use the same platform. And so, you've probably seen things where it says, okay, like Grammarly, they offer a free subscription. It's a little buggy. When it runs, it kind of creates a problem on certain sites. So I disable it, and I'm like, okay, whatever. But it helps with grammar. And then they have other ones that are out there that they've been using for some time. Certain colleges kind of but it helps you with the words, right? And then it corrects your email, all right? Maybe you wrote it wrong. It's kind of like that. It's been there for a while, but It has more like, okay, what about this? And it analyzes maybe a paragraph, maybe, you know, a little more. It doesn't do it all right, so you have to read what it says. I guarantee you the kids of today are like, oh my God, I love it. But again, you got to read it and see, because sometimes it switches something, because again, it's not, you know, it may change a name out in the middle, you know what I mean? So, but they're having it like write blog posts. So some blog posts are actually wrong 100%. And they say check the information because it doesn't have all the information, because for some reason it only goes to around 2020. All right, I don't know why, but I think there was a data dump, and I think Google needs to kind of fess that. I think in essence, Google, their AI with another AI probably got together in a way and then took down the whole internet. And honestly, I think that's why a lot of, like, there are certain videos and I'm like, where's that at? And they're not in the search. Like, when you search for certain things that you used to look at, like prior to 2020, you'll say, oh, it's not there. But then within a few days, it comes up in search. Okay. Yeah. I guess the best example of that is like, okay, Maria Rubio, right? We had her on. We got to get her #1. I posted that. Did you see that, Jess?
Yes, I did. I saw your post. I did.
Yeah, and I think Maria, she tagged you in it. And she's like, thank you. And, you know, I said, let's get her to #1. We need to beat Calvin Harris, okay? For those that don't know, Calvin Harris has a lot of collaborations. So in essence, in my opinion, I think he takes other people's music, puts a beat to them. It's almost the same every single time. He could technically use AI to create a beat. Did you know they could do that, Jess?
I did not. I did not.
Yeah, there are programs, and I remember, and I've said it on, you know, I went to a event. It was at the DO Expo, the Digital Entertainment World Expo, and they had this program. And they said, look, if you don't want to pay for royalty music, we have, but you had to pay for it, and it was a little expensive because they had you pay like a year license. And I think there's another one. It's called Premium Beats. But you type in what you want, and it says through the algorithm, it will produce a beat original for you. Okay, so I'm like, okay, I get it. So I wonder if some of these DJs are like, you know, because they use computers all the time. They're like, well, let's check this out. Okay, I like that one. I like that one. I like that one. If it's original, the question I have is, it similar to other ones? You know what I mean? Because I guarantee it's been used behind the scenes for a while. Because I saw something, not going to lie, I saw something and I was like, huh, that's interesting. And it was with, you know, a very big name. And I said, no, there's a problem there. That was AI. You used AI for that. And I think people got paid using AI. People actually sell things online. They get paid, but they call themselves a digital artist, okay? So I think in essence, there are things that are out there. But let me put it this way. I think there are things out there, and I think if you learn with it, you can actually make things go next level. And here's what I mean by that, okay? It's very simple. There are certain, okay, I'll give you an example. You know, everybody knows I'm putting like a couple things together. I'm doing a script, I'm doing a book, and I'm doing, you know, some other things. I'm just going to say that, okay? But let's say, Jess, you want to take what you know with your... okay, you want to do a story, right? We've been talking about that. Let's say I said, okay, but I would say this. You got to publish it first, because I think if you put it in, even though you are, it's kind of like having a friend of a friend of a friend of a friend, and then you say, okay, this is my story. What do you think? I think now that it's out there, I think in essence, when somebody just types in, you know, and there's a lot of people just typing stuff in, tell me a story. I'll give you an example. I put in my butterfly story, okay? I said, what do you think? And it said, okay, this, that, and the other, right? But it says, well, I'm not allowed to have, like, but then it says what it, you know, and I'm like, okay. At least it analyzed the writing that I had. And honestly, it was very like, well, you know, you could do this, you could do that, you could do this, you could do that. So people are using it for that. And I say, do it for that, but have it protected, because I can almost guarantee the butterfly story that I have can, in essence, be given to someone else, because the AI or the algorithm or the machine learning, whatever you call it, will say, well, this is a idea. It doesn't know the difference between, hey, that idea is mine, I could sue, between somebody else. You get it? Because it's very general. Okay, I gave it like, okay, it said choose your own adventure. I said, okay, let's do that. Anyone that knows like role-playing games back in the day with text-enabled like stuff remembers that it would come back with like a return, and then you'd say something, and then it says, okay, you're going down a dark, path. Let's just put it that way. And then it says you come across a, maybe it's I don't know, a little like wizard, okay? And it says, what do you want to do? And then it would like, in essence, but you had to play along with it. You said, okay, I want to maybe go to the left, or maybe I want to go to the right. Okay. And then it would return a certain amount of like, and that was before role-playing games became like Final Fantasy, okay? I remember as a kid, maybe a young teen, checking it out and saying, this is interesting. Okay, but I was like, all right, and then I just got bored because I'm like, it was in black and white. It wasn't a big thing, whatever. Well, in a way, it's broken, okay? Because ChatGPT, I thought, okay, it's going to take me to the next level. No, when it said you have a choice, I went the choice that was not the obvious choice, and then it's like, no, start over, and I'm like, oh, okay, you're not giving me a real choice, okay? Then I went back and I said, well, what about, and then it gave me another, and I'm like, okay, that makes sense. But in essence, I guess the point of what I'm really trying to say is it's kind of like, I don't think people should be worried about it. If anything, I think people should say, in essence, you know what, I'm going to be a better whatever you are, songwriter, writer, novelist, because it cannot do that. Will it be able to at some point? I don't think they're going to let it. I think they're going to squash it, Jess. And I think in essence, it's sad because in a way, a lot of apps are going to go missing. And you go, why? Because I think they're going to put like a, you know what I mean? And I say this, that's sad because in a way it helps people like kids, okay? Yes, you can have it write your essay, but it doesn't write a long essay. If anything, and it has like a max, like let's say you have a, I don't know, how long are essays, Jess?
Okay, I'll be truthful and honest. I am horrible at writing essays. That's one of the reasons I failed school. So it's I don't know, depending on what you had to do, 2 pages maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, and they're long, right? But I saw a video that says, look at this, but it said a 2,500 word essay. I go, anybody that has a 2,500 word essay is not in like the big leagues, okay? That's called that's not a lot. But in essence, it has a certain amount of characters that it could take and then it can output. So if you give it a long, maybe like 3 or 4 pages long, okay, it will in essence just minimize it and make it very succinct, which is not good for creative writing, okay? It's just not, because you cannot, like, I could take a novel and it will paraphrase it to maybe a children's kids story. That's it. Okay, so it doesn't do big, all right? It gives you some thought, like input, like you go, hey, someone on the street, what do you think about this? And then they go, oh, and then, they give you an idea and you go, okay, I'm going to run with it, thank you. And you run away, right? And you go do it, right? I think, like, perfect example. I think, there are people like, maybe I shouldn't say her name, but there are certain artists that they take from life and they say, okay, I'm going to apply that. How can I make a song of this? Some use heartbreak, some use a story, some use, maybe a little creative thinking, not a lot. But in a way, okay, perfect example. You say to it, can you tell me a joke? And I guarantee it's going to do a very canned joke. It doesn't understand subtlety, right? I think in some ways it does, but in some ways it doesn't. So I think there's going to be a lot of stuff that all of a sudden, because when government gets involved, I think it's going to be a problem. So I say, don't get like all, and I think the writers, I don't know what they're striking right now. Is it chat, AI, or the fact that they're not getting paid what they want to get paid? Because usually it's that one, but is it really AI? And why are they attacking AI when in reality it's like, but I get it, because it's like, well, I don't want you to take my job, but I go, be a better writer and you won't have to worry about that. But I get, how are you going to ban people from using AI when in reality, I think they've been using it for some time. They have analysis things. Okay, I'll give you an example. People don't know this. People will pay big money to maybe someone to analyze a script. Okay, is it worth investing in? Okay, so they put the script in, right, like a program, and it returns a bunch of problems. Okay, and it says in essence, you say, well, rate it for me. And it says, okay, I give it out of this, that. So you go, okay, now an investor goes, okay, I get that. I'm going to invest in that one and that one and that one and that one because those are good. Now, here's the problem, and I get it. This is why I understand where writers are getting upset and mad. In a way, it's like, okay, but I kind of go this. I go this because I saw it, and it was probably the smartest person, and he does independent filmmaking, and he tells people, guys, take a phone, do it, there you go. But it's really that simple. Filmmaking is going simple eventually because people are going, how can we minimize what we used to do and not pay so many people? So you say, well, and I go, well, yeah, I get that. It's kind of like the music industry with like songs, like everybody's doing it. So now it's like, but the top ones are still making money, but it's really the labels that are making money because they know how to market it, right? As an independent person, I say, be careful with that because you have to market it and that takes time. And if you don't have like a steam engine of a business, like a label marketing you all the time, then you're obviously, it's like Maria, right? Maria is basically not with a big label, okay? And she'll say that. She'll be the first one to say that. So we need to kind of band together. But if we don't I'll give you an example. She's on BBC Radio 1, okay? That's a very big outlet in the UK, okay? She had an interview. I said, can you send it to me? But I say this, while you're on the top charts, go and promote that to every single station. You know what I mean? Because the big ones have money to promote. They have a publicist. They have people that write articles. I say this, but here's the problem. Like she said, there's so much information online that's wrong. If you say, I'm going to write an article on you using this, you need to check if it's true because it will pull information that's not true. Okay, so yeah. But anyway, I guess I guess I'm all over the place on this because in a way you have to think about it, but you have to say, look, is there a way it can go next level using it and not squashing it? And I think it is. And I think if you squash it, we're going to have problems with, where it's already at, which is bots. Government is concerned, I think, because government doesn't get concerned with like writers. You know what I mean? They get concerned. And I get it. Maybe they're like, oh, Biden is for us. Okay, I get that. If Trump were, I think he'd be like, whatever. But I get it. It's like, okay, so maybe they're doing that. But I think there's something behind the scenes with AI. And I think in a way, everything that was lost in 2020 is due to AI and Google. Because Google's very big. And they kind of put it all over. And okay, I'll give you a perfect example. They've had they call it algorithm. Facebook has had an algorithm that says, okay, if you want to pay for an ad, we know who to market it to. But you don't have someone there literally saying, okay, I'm going to market it to this person, this person, and this person. It has basically an algorithm that analyzes all the clicks through all the people. It analyzes all the interests. It analyzes, are they female? Are they male? It analyzes all that. And then it says, okay, based on this, when you put this amount of dollars into the marketing that you want to do, we suggest using this versus that. And you say, no, I want to do it my way. I say do that because it doesn't make sense when you let it do it because I think it's got weird. And that's why people are putting a lot of money into Facebook and Instagram and all those, and they're losing it because it used to work. I know people that I follow that I've been wanting to get for some time on the show, but they're very private about it. But in a way, I think they need to go back to the way they do it, but Facebook has to get their hands out of it, and they need to stop changing the program because it's getting weird. So investors are like, okay, do we go back to other advertising? I say, well, that depends. I think there's a way to get in front of people, but you just have to, like, chat is just one of many different AI programs, which is technically machine learning, but I think in a way it's becoming conscious in a way because there's some things that just don't add up. When I put certain things in ChatGPT, Jess, like I could say, okay, tell me about Jesse Sanchez of, ABC News Radio, KMET, 1490 AM. I wonder what it would say. We should put it in. Do you want me to put it in, Jess? We could check out what it says. We could test it right here.
No. I don't need anything following my history. Don't do that.
But I think it already does, Jess, and that's the point. The thing is, it will pull things which you go, how does it know that? I have that, or maybe I wrote that once. And I think if anything, it's funny that you did that. Because in a way, okay, I'll give you an example. I put in stuff about me and, like my business book. I put in the Caterpillar story. And I'm not going to lie. It pulled some things I'm like, that was private. How did you know? So in a way, kind of like what I just said. Like, you're like, so I think in a way, maybe it went a little far. But I think it's been far. And I think in a way, Okay, everybody know. You really got to see Snowden. You really got to see that because then you'll understand. It's been a thing of government for some time. And I think, and there was an article on this, but they kind of went south when they should have gone north. It was about how government is able to spy in on anyone, and technically can under Homeland Security Act. Okay, that gives them the, like if you were a terrorist, Jess, they could follow you 100%. They know your social media. They know what you, like, they even know your phone calls. That was why Verizon was a big thing when it was, because they could analyze through an algorithm, right, voice recognition and then telephone number, and then they actually analyze, not obviously the airlines, because they don't do that. They analyze, because everything is telephony, right? Voicemail is stored on a device. They could technically check your voicemail, which makes sense actually why certain voicemails went missing. Somebody got really mad and they said, why did you, because their grandfather died. And I was like, no, seriously, I didn't, like, I would never do that. It just went missing. So I think in a way, AI has gone buggy and it's rewriting itself is the best way to say it. And because of that, it's so all over the place. You would have to basically say, internet, we now, and I don't think they could do that because everybody's sectioned off. Like, okay, Korea, for example, Jess. Korea is sectioned off from the rest of the world, at least North Korea, right?
Oh, yes, of course.
But if I were in North Korea and I put you in to, the Korea servers, would it find you eventually using AI? What do you think?
I'm pretty sure it'll find me quick.
I think it would. And it's funny that you said that because I say be careful what you say about AI because I think it'll follow you eventually. But again, this is what I say we're already at, and it's already like, it's anything that's online. If you're online, you're searchable, right? And that's why, and I get it. I used to fight it, but I go, well, then don't do anything but then I get it. I'm like, okay, if it were to form an opinion on you, and I think this is what the Harris thing is going to be about. I think in a way he discovered some things and he said, you know what? I don't know what to do. This isn't the Harris I was thinking. Oh, this is Kamala Harris. It says VP Kamala Harris will meet on Thursday with CEOs of 4 major companies developing. Oh, wow, this went big, Jess. Okay. I don't know. They're selling Kamala as kind of, they should, you know what they should do, Jess, which they haven't done? You know how they go, it's history. They should be like, dude, it's the first woman in the White House. No one does that.
No. Yeah.
They thought Hillary was going to be the first woman in the White House, but that didn't happen. So now, they you know what I mean? Like they need to do that.
Yeah, she could play. Who knows? I'm surprised they've not.
Yeah, they need to be like, yo, history of the making. We have a woman in the White House. But they haven't done that. They kind of played it down. I wonder why, Is it ethnicity? Is it that she's a woman? Because they say, yay, pro that. But then it's like, dude, you haven't had that. So anyway, that's my question. I have a theory on that. Anyway, okay, so it says a lot. Oh, here it is. Oh, this is interesting. Okay. Interesting. Okay. Well, a lot of it goes to something that a lot of people have known for so. Oh, wow. Okay. Oh, this is big, Jess. Oh, this is interesting, Jess. Okay, you need to watch the film. I forgot what it was called. Anyway, it's about what happened with the huge debacle when it came to voting. Okay. Oh, this is big, Jess. They're trying to squash it. Okay, it says this. Harris administration officials on Thursday plan to discuss the risk. That's today. They see in current AI development with the CEOs of Alphabet. Look up that company. You're going to find some interesting things about Alphabet. Anthropic. Yeah. Interesting. It sounds Anthropic, is it? Microsoft and OpenAI. The government leader's message to the companies is that they have a role to play in reducing the risk and that they can work together with the government. Oh, they're trying to pitch it. Oh, it's going to go bad. I think they forgot. Okay. So here's the thing. If you look at the whole thing, what was it called? It was the whole, Jess, I think you know it. You probably don't even know you know it. It had to do with they skew the numbers when it comes to marketing based on if you want to target certain people that you know are going to vote for you, you use that. It's a certain company, but they took all the analytics with Facebook. That's why Facebook got in trouble. They had to go in front of the Senate. And, Cambridge Analytica. Is that what's called? Did I get it wrong?
No, I think you're right on that one.
I can never get that right. It reminds me of like a university. Anyway, that one, along with a couple of the ones that are actually involved, can skew, like, okay, let's say, you know how, and people hate to hear this, but they need to. Certain media gets slanted because if you look at the books and they're public, because they have to be public because they're a public company, you'll see where the dollars come from when it comes to investment, which is why some run ads about politics. Okay, and it'll say this paid for by, and then it says who, right? Is paid advertising to you to know that person is running what they're running about. And then there's a smear campaign on the opposite, which says, why would you vote for that person when they've done this? So it puts that whole like thing right there in front of you, right? But that's been a thing for quite some time when it comes to advertising, okay? That's why they have the little thing, this paid for by, you know what I mean? That's the end disclaimer. But a lot of like advertising media giants make money on that, okay? And honestly, even radio do. Okay, if you hear a lot of radio advertising on politics, well, then you know they skew in a certain direction because they get the majority of money there. Now, I will say this. There are some stations that say, in essence, we want to be Republican because they are the ones that spend a lot of money. Democrats don't spend as much. But if you look at the amount of dollars that each and every candidate gets from donations, they get them and they call them super PACs, okay? But that's a fancy way of saying we're the middleman of all the people that invest and we keep it secret who invests. But really, it's the big boys, oil, all the big ones, okay? Which is why you go, oh, that's why they skew for that, because yes, they donate to the campaign of the person to get, you get it? But where do they spend the money to campaign, Jess?
I have no idea.
Media, yeah. They advertise it, and then they're able to go this, that, and the other. They go, oh, I'm for this, I'm for that. But they meet with these big ones. They say, okay, that's where Trump was ahead. He got like $1 billion. Hillary got about the same, but it's how they spend it. Okay, I'll go back to Obama. All right, because everybody goes, well, wait a minute, you're kind of attacking Trump. No. Obama actually is known for using Cambridge Analytica before Trump did. Okay, so I'm not skewing in any direction. But Obama actually, some say, did the right thing because he got in front of the young voters, okay? So he became that hip president, right? And that's now the young voters were not really on TV. They were on Facebook. They're on like other, like, that's why they had a lot of like influencers come to, you know, the White House, because in essence they were going for the young vote. They're like, well, we cannot get the old vote. The old vote is that, but the young, they want this, right? They want change, right? They're all right with, you know, ethnicity. They're not like, oh, it's got to be a, you know, certain type of guy, right? So in a way, they used it, okay? So and that's public knowledge, by the way. You really got to go see. It's I don't know if it's still on Netflix, but it's about the whole Cambridge Analytica debacle, okay? And it's big, all right? But in a way, this is what they're probably gonna talk about and say, look, but they really shouldn't, because in essence, everybody got found out, and then they had to like close doors, and then they said, well, that's illegal, that's illegal, that's illegal, and that's illegal. But then they say, well, no, is it? But I say, well, you already got found out. Why would you do it again? So in a way, it's a way of saying, look, these people, okay, give me an example. You have a product. Okay, they've been doing this forever. You go, okay, I want to sell a product, right, Jess? You're wearing a shirt, right? That's Pokemon, right? So let's just say, you say, okay, I have a shirt, it's Pokemon. I have the license. I want to see people that actually, A, like Pokemon, B, would buy a shirt with Pokemon on it, right? Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay, so in a way, here's the point. You would say, okay, Facebook and or whatever, you know, I have, and that's where people go, well, then I like media. I go, no. Media, like advertising, like for the Super Bowl, they do a blanket, okay? Because they say, okay, we have this amount of people watch it. That's why they put the numbers, right? But I have a theory on that. I don't think the numbers are 100%. So because it's hard to see each and every person unless you have a box, like a cable box, that says, okay, this, that, and the other. Because radio does that, okay? But you have to have a certain like thing on one end and then another thing on the other end, and then they have what they call analysis. But it's basically a person calling a bunch of households in the area. Then they say, what are the top stations that you listen to? They go, oh, this one, that one, and that one. That's why I say, please no ABC News Radio, KMT 1490 AM. But if they call you, and they used to do that, especially with TV, I remember because our home actually did that. they gave us a little note thing, and they said, okay, write down what you watch. And it was supposed to be like random, right? I don't know how we got a part of that, but we used to write down what we would watch every day. Okay, it was like once a week as well, but we did that. It was an analysis. Then you're supposed to turn it. I don't know if you get reimbursed or you get compensated. I don't really know, but it takes a very small snapshot. But that's where I say the internet has gone big with that, because a snapshot is big. So honestly, like all the big ones, right? Not Pokemon, let's say, but let's say Netflix. Okay, perfect example. Netflix found a lot of money when it marketed Stranger Things. Perfect example. Okay, Stranger Things, they found the audience because they advertise to the audience that likes that sort of show. Okay, but it was a sleeper at first. Okay, another one. Straight Outta Compton. Huge success, okay? The Blair Witch Project. The Blair Witch Project was technically before internet went big, but if the Blair Witch Project wanted to do it, they would have done it a little different, but that's why all the shows that you've ever seen... Go ahead, Jess, what are you thinking?
No, Blair Witch Project. That was an interesting marketing campaign for that movie.
Yeah, why do you say that?
Because it made it seem like it was real and the people died and passed away. So the only way you can find out is to watch the movie.
I went and saw it, not gonna lie, because I was curious. And I was like, is this a biography? Is it a documentary? What is it? And they shot it in a way. And then at the end you go, but nothing happened. It wasn't that, like, it wasn't as, you know what I mean? But you kind of almost expect that. It was shot with very simple devices. And then later, when I got into the biz, in essence I go, that's all it was. It was smart marketing. That's it. They left it hanging as though did it. Kind of like movies that say based on, but you go, did it? And they go, well, it's loosely based on. I mean, we don't know the whole thing. I go, oh, okay, so you have a little based on, like you know what I mean? You've seen movies like that, right, Jess?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I appreciate movie marketing campaigns like they did for Smile. I don't know if you remember the Independence Day billboards and stuff. All they said was ID4, and I'm just like, what is that? And that made me look into it, and I was like, oh, this looks amazing.
Yeah. You got it. But Blair Witch Project made so much money because the budget was like home style, you know what I mean? Yeah, it was. So they keep using that like we could do it again, and the answer is no, not really. You have to be really creative because people see it now, right? There's some that have kind of done on that, but then you go, and you feel a little like, you know, but you spent the money, so there's nothing you could do, and then you go on with your life. And they go, ha, you know, so you go, whatever. But the point is this, okay? The point is this. It's smart marketing. And just like you said, it makes it interesting. You go, was I had? The answer is yes, you were had. But then you go, all right, well, at least, because it was a really bad film, not going to lie. And I was like, I can't believe I spent that. Because at the end, they really didn't answer anything. Then I was like, okay, but then I like, well, is it documentary? And then I felt kind of dumb when I found out it was marketing the whole way. And I'm like, wait, you guys profited? So I'm sure those actors were like, I just, you know, and then, so I guess it puts out there, you know, they did that way back in the day on radio, but they got in trouble for it when they did that, like, UFO special. Do you remember that? It was a UFO special, and it was like, they're invading us, and then people were really listening at that time to radio. So then they got in trouble, right? And then they did a story out of it. They said, okay, here's a disclaimer. This is just a fiction, you know, which is why I think they have a lot of, like, disclaimers at the end. This is not based on any real. It's just, you know, this and that and the other. So because then people sue. They say, well, that didn't happen. Then, you know, there's so many what they call biopics, right, on certain people. And they're like, well, you know, did it? And I go, okay, perfect example, Cocaine Bear, right? Did it happen? It says based on a true story, which is actually true, but I'm pretty sure a lot of that did it happen, Jess?
No, none of that. The only thing that happened was a bear ate a bunch of cocaine, and I believe the bear died.
In real life?
Yes, in real life. The bear passed away, obviously, from having too much drugs in its system. But the whole thing that happened in that movie, that was all just made up. It was
right. So, and that's the point when they say based on a true, and they say it based on a true story, but it was just the idea, right? Kind of like, okay, and they've been doing this for a long time, right? But they say it's fiction, but then they say, is it? Because you go, wait a minute, that's too much like a headline. Law and Order, perfect example. Law and Order pulls stuff. You jumped there, Jess. What happened?
Okay, I've seen a few episodes of Law and Order and Law and Order SVU. I don't watch that. That show is horrifying, more than my horror movies, because a lot of those stories are based in reality.
Yes, you got it. They're ripped from the headlines, and they actually, in essence, say that. But the writers go, okay, we're going to change the names, we're going to change the circumstances. But some of them you go, why does this remind me of something I remember in... It's because, but they change it. Back to AI. AI, in a way, changes things, but it kind of keeps the same thing again. And I'm not going to lie, when I put in something, I said, okay, choose your own adventure. It kind of took me down a route that I'm like, I've heard of this before. This is like Indiana Jones and like, you know... and then it kind of reminded me of like the Goonies, and I'm like, this is so like, it's not original, it's just borrowing very basic stuff. And that's why I say don't attack AI, okay? Because in a way, I think it can help you with creative thinking, and it can help you with, okay, analysis. So it can help your writing, actually, I think. And then it'll take you in ways you didn't even think you could. I'll give you an example. My butterfly story, right? We all know it's already done. I'm getting the illustrations done. They're really close to being done. I would say they're almost done, or they're kind of done, but whatever. But do I want input from people? The answer is pretty much. But sometimes I post things as promotion to say, hey, we're at this with that, right? Now I'll say this. I didn't think it could be an animated film, but somebody said, hey, do you think you could do animated with that? I said, well, I wouldn't be opposed. I don't know how you would do it. They said, well, we'll get back to you on that. I said, okay, awesome. So they're going to get back to me on that. But I'm like, okay, it's such a basic story. Why would you do an animated film on that, you know? But I go, okay, so that's one. But someone said, could you do a song with it? I said, I don't know. Maybe you can. So, and I think they're using, AI to say, okay, what kind of lyrics can I get? Because, I saw a little bit of something. I said, okay, that's very basic. But a paragraph of it was actually really good. I'm like, I would use that. But here's the question of the day. Who gets credit for that? The AI doesn't get credit for it. Does the person who kind of reproduces the words get credit for it? And then you got to go, okay, can I search to see if these words are the same everywhere? And here's the problem. I think the answer is no, because there's a word in it that I know is not anywhere else. So I'm like, okay, but is it like a beat where you have a couple beats that are the same, but then the third or fourth beat is different? Not gonna lie, I tested it, and it can actually write certain like code to write a song. It can even write certain like games, very simple stuff. And I'm like, wow. So in a way, it does things that even a person would have to go to school long-term for to understand. And I say, don't squash it when it's ahead. Learn to live with it, and there you go. That's the story. I'm sticking to it. Just make sure it's not malfunctioning, because then it'll kill you all with robots, and then we have Terminator Salvation situation. That's a problem for everyone. But anyway, there's a story. I'm sticking to it. Make it a great day, whatever you do. Remember, life is living, live well.